send an envoy backed by the army to rescue the Supreme Court judges and political detainees. This impassioned plea by exiled Maldives President Mohammad Nasheed has kept New Delhi busy over the past few days. On the 5th of February 2018, the current Maldives President Abdulla Yameen imposed a 15-day emergency in the country. The government arrested Chief Justice Saeed and another judge, Ali Hamid, following the Supreme Court's order to release about a dozen political prisoners, including former President Mohammad Nasheed. But what does the internal security situation of Maldives have to do with India?
India has huge stakes in what's going on in the Maldives. Over the last few years, what's been happening is there is intense competition between India and China for strategic leverage, not just in the Maldives but in the wider Indian Ocean region. The Indian Ocean region has always been sort of India's sphere of influence, as it were.
Maldives has traditionally been close to India, with its long-term President Maumoon Abdul Gayoom having close ties to India since the 1980s. Maldives asked India to relocate its citizens on Indian soil in the event that the island archipelago is submerged by rising sea levels in the near future because of global warming. What kind of diplomatic pull does India hold over Maldives currently?
For the last 30 years or so, India backed Abdul Gayoom, who's been the longest-serving president/dictator of the Maldives.
Gayoom lost power in 2008 and has also been arrested by the Yameen government after declaring emergency. The Supreme Court judges that were arrested were appointed by him.
What he's also trying to do is to send out a signal to potential backers of Gayoom and his men that, look, he's the man in charge.
After assuming office in China, Xi Jinping gave the Maldives pride of place of being the first country he visited in South Asia, visiting the island nation in September 2014. Since then, Abdulla Yameen has been a loyal Beijing ally, allowing for numerous infrastructure projects to be built by China, including an ambitious $100 million undersea tunnel to connect the two biggest islands there, Malé and Hulhu Malé. In contrast, the Maldives is yet to feature on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's international travel itinerary. Since the early 2000s, China has increased its influence in the Indian Ocean through the setting up of trading ports and naval facilities, collectively called its String of Pearls. India sees this as encirclement, and seeing the Maldives become a pearl on China's string is a cause of concern for South Bloc.
It is possible that India has used its good offices, its connections with Gayoom and his men to try and maximize India's own stakes and leverage in the Maldives.
A Maldivian pro-government newspaper has recently described China as Maldives' new best friend and India, with which it shares historical ties, as an enemy nation. While India is the biggest military power in the region, in the post-Cold War era, direct military interventions have become messy even for the world's largest military power, America, as is the case in both its wars, in Iraq and Afghanistan. India's last military intervention in Sri Lanka with the IPKF didn't exactly end in glory. In lieu of this, a diplomatic engagement with the emergency in Maldives could have proved critical in New Delhi's Indian Ocean policy. The events of the last few days are a watershed in the power relations in the Indian Ocean between the two Asian giants.